In one of our earlier wildflower outings, we looked at the red valerian that grows on limestone walls. And I mentioned there that wasn't the true valerian that enjoyed such a high medicinal reputation in earlier times. This is that valerian of high medicinal virtue, the one which derives its names from the Latin word valere, which means to be healthy. Now, if we take a look at the individual flowers, we can see each of them is a little trumpet, 4 to 5 millimeters deep, with a short nectar spur at the side. And they're protandrous, which means that the stamens mature before the stigmas are receptive. And the stamens mature one at a time, rising up into the centre of the flower, shedding their pollen before falling back. And only then do the stigma become receptive. The stigma is trifid, presenting its 3 receptive surfaces when the stamens have moved away to the side, so that they're no longer interfering with the stigma. The pollinators are bees, and particularly hoverflies, especially the dronefly, Eristalis. But one of the most memorable details about valerian is what happens to the sepals. The sepals in the flower are quite small structures, but after fertilization they develop upwards to produce 12 red ribs that arch up to meet in the centre at the top. And only when the fruit is mature do they unfurl to produce the most marvellous looking parachutes. One of the most memorable details is the way the calyx, which in the flower is scarcely noticeable, develops after fertilization into what at first looks like a red crown with a dozen coiled red ribs that curl upwards in a circle to meet at the centre before unfurling into a gorgeous parachute that will carry the fruits to pastures new. Valerian was one of the most valued of herbal medicines, the treatment of nervous complaints and blood disorders being among the many conditions for which it was prescribed. And cats have an irresistible attraction to it, as indeed do dogs and rats. And the attraction is to the strong smelling roots, which is the part mainly used in the various medicinal preparations. In fact, the power of the Pied Piper of Hamelin is thought to be due less to the music he played than to the valerian roots in his pocket.